right. Whatever. As a young man, O'Neill was raised, well, he suffered from alcoholism and depression. He began traveling extensively. He lived at sea, on the waterfronts of Buenos Aires, Liverpool,
Righto.
and New York City.
Hey!
Eventually, he began work as a journalist and contributor to the poetry column of the New London Telegraph.
It rhymes.
But in 1912, he was stricken with tuberculosis. But after 6 months spent in a sanatorium recovering from tuberculosis, he decided to devote himself full-time to writing plays.
I'm alive! It's a miracle. With God as my witness, I will now devote myself full-time to writing plays.
O'Neill's major works include Beyond the Horizon, for which he was awarded his first Pulitzer Prize, The Emperor Jones, Anna Christie, which won another Pulitzer Prize, 1922, Strange Interlude, which won yet another Pulitzer Prize, 1928, Desire Under the Elms, Morning Becomes Electra, and Wilderness. Eugene O'Neill's only widely known comedy. And in 1936, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature.
You love me. You really do love me.
And after a 10-year pause, The Iceman Cometh. O'Neill's most complex and perhaps finest tragedy was produced on Broadway. A year later, Moon for the Misbegotten failed.
No!
Well, it was only considered a success years after his death on November 27, 1953, at the age of 65.
Huh. Now that I have seen and heard and experienced this information, I am slightly more inclined to find it credible, but I think we are still a long way off from disproving Shakespeare's authorship of Wilderness. In fact, after hearing more about this Eugene O'Neill, I am struck by the many similarities between him and William Shakespeare.
What? Aside from the fact that they are both playwrights, Eugene O'Neill and William Shakespeare are completely different people.
I beg to differ, and I intend to prove it. Research assistants. All right, I get it. Eugene O'Neill had a tough life. He wrote some plays, he won some Pulitzers, he introduced realism, whatever that is, to the American theater. But how much do we actually know about him? Not much. And this is where it gets spooky, because how much do we know about Shakespeare? Exactly.
Who hired this guy?
For example, can we truthfully say with 100% absolute certainty that Shakespeare, the world's most imaginative brain, never once considered the possibility of time travel? And if this impossibility is in fact now possible, then is it not also possible that Shakespeare could have, hypothetically, created some sort of time machine, which he then hypothetically could have used to travel forward in time to write Wilderness? That's right. And if Shakespeare hypothetically traveled forward in time in some sort of time machine which he could have created, then can we say with certainty that he hated the name Eugene O'Neill? Are we so racist as to assume that an Englishman can't embrace Irish culture? And are we so arrogant as to believe that a non-racist, possibly time-traveling Shakespeare could not have traveled forward in time to America, adopted the name Eugene O'Neill, gotten married, raised a family, become an alcoholic, and written the play Our Wilderness before returning to Elizabethan England and destroying the time machine to avoid any and all suspicion.
I want my mommy.
Now, let's examine a few plays from the playwright in question. I wonder what a synopsis of Long Day's Journey into Night reveals.
The play's action covers a day in the life for the Tyrone family. All 3 males in the family are alcoholics.
And Mary has just returned home after receiving treatment in a sanatorium for morphine addiction.
You know what that reminds me of?
William Shakespeare's Twelfth Night! Wait, are you serious? Are you really telling me that Long Day's Journey into Night, a heart-rending depiction of a family on the brink of destruction, reminds you of Twelfth Night? A comedy about mistaken identity?
Well, when you put it that way, no. Perhaps I was thinking of The Merry Wives of Windsor. And now, let's examine the play in question. Wilderness. Please indulge me for a moment while I perform a little experiment through which I intend to prove that Our Wilderness is, in fact, practically exactly like Hamlet. Let's examine a short section from Act 1 of Our Wilderness. You two, you will be playing Richard, the youthfully exuberant son of Nat and Essie Miller, and Lily, Richard's spinster aunt. But our experiment will delve much deeper than the simple surface of this comedy. Research assistants, you will be voicing the subtext that Shakespeare intended.
But Shakespeare didn't...
Silence! Ready? Begin.
I'm all right, Aunt Lily. You mustn't worry about me.
Aunt, and by aunt I mean mother who married my uncle. Don't worry about me, thy son, also known as Hamlet, who may or may not have the hots for thee.
But I do worry about you. I hate to see you so upset.
I worry about thee because I married thine uncle who killed thine father. Also, thee may or may not have the hots for me.
It doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
I am full of melancholy. My dead father wants me to kill someone!
You mustn't let yourself take it so seriously. You know, things like that come up and we think there's no hope.
Calm thyself down, it. Sure, I married thine uncle, and ghosts may be telling me to seek thy vengeance, but it's not worth killing practically every character in the play.
Things like what come up?
Huh? What's happened between you and Muriel?
I haven't seen Ophelia around lately.
Oh, her. I wasn't even thinking about her. I was thinking about life.
Ophelia Schmophelia, to be or not to be, that is the question.
Oh, thank you. Reasonable doubt, anyone.
This is completely idiotic! Your experiment proves nothing! Plus, that wasn't subtext, and if you knew anything about realism, you would know that!
Okay, this really can't go on. You know, you can't say that Eugene O'Neill writing Our Wilderness is a theory. It's a fact! And the idea that Shakespeare wrote Our Wilderness isn't just incorrect, it's insane! I mean, yes, there are things that resonate with, that unify all authors, all playwrights. So yes, much like Shakespeare, O'Neill's work is rich in symbolism and poetry. And yes, much like Shakespeare, O'Neill's work uses themes that resonate with diverse audiences.
In O'Neill's case, themes such as the conflict between idealism and materialism.
And the fragile and agonizing relationships between parents and children.
You simply can't deny the individual contributions of Eugene O'Neill to theater. His plays are forerunners to countless avant-garde movements that revolutionized 20th century American theater.
It is true that he experimented with techniques such as the symbolic use of masks and expressionistic dialogue and action.
Yes, and through excruciating honesty and deep psychological insight, his plays portray the cynicism and hypocrisy of a society driven by insecurity and fear.